Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus and I'm back. And I want to address this topic that was put out there into cyberspace on YouTube with DJ Ab. Um, Speaking on the topic of collaboration and avoiding lone wolves. So, I'm gonna give my opinion. This is from my personal experience and what I would respond to this topic, right? So, to give a quick backstory, he was responding to Producers Grind podcast where they were interviewing Timberland, and he mentioned three C's. Um, was it consistency, collaboration, and content, right? And I agree with the consistency. Also agree with content, but collaboration. What he stated was to avoid anyone that is a lone wolf or say that you could do it all by yourself. So that's the topic I disagree with. So let's get into it. Number one, give you a little background of who I am. All right, I'm Mike Venus, La Sol. La Sol means the sun in Spanish. Um, I marked that because I'm a number one life path in numerology, a 10-1. So that's sun energy, right? If you don't know anything about numerology, just look it up. This is dealing with my life path, right? And it made sense once I understood it because I started my music journey long before that, probably whenever I was in middle school, elementary school, with singing in the church. And then learning my first instrument when I was 19, right? When I came back from college, I picked up the guitar. So, and then I started producing music, releasing music in 2020, right? So we in 2022. So you do the math. That's some years. And in that span of time, I have worked with others and I have worked alone. Now, I'm going to say this from the perspective of a composer, then as a producer, and then as a musician, right? Because I operate in these three facets anytime I make music. So, as a composer, composer is a person who writes music. Anytime you um, create a sequence on your beat machine or in your computer, you're writing music. Um, Either if you clicking it in, playing it in, or punching it in, you're still writing music, right? Now, as a collaborator in that aspect, I don't have much experience collaborating with other people with that because in the past, when I was writing songs on the guitar, I ran into several times in different groups I was in where either the bandmates were not on the level of comprehension when it came to music theory and scales and stuff of that nature and time signatures, which kind of interfere with the process. Because when you're writing music, um, if you're working with other people, they're there to assist you by playing those parts that you wrote. And in this situation, this was around when I was like 20. I had I'm self-taught in every instrument that I learned, music production, writing music. So I took the initiative to be the best that I can be. That means I wanted to know what I was playing, how it related to the other members, and to give my best, right? Because I'm saying out, hey, I'm a musician, I'm a guitarist, right? Or I'm a writer, songwriter, or I'm producing. And I always took this approach in anything that I did. So one fatal flaw in my way of thinking is that I assume other people were just as dedicated or as serious to developing themselves and bringing their best. And I experienced this once when I was writing songs after learning the guitar and getting understanding of music theory. I wanted to start writing songs. So I started to write this song. It was in the key of A flat major, F minor. The people in the band or in the group never played in it. Now I could have easily transposed it down to a key that they can understand, but it would have took away from the flavor of the song, one. And two, um, even when I did it, they couldn't get the parts that I had made for each person in the band. So it didn't work out. Why? Because we weren't in sync. It was a confidence blow, right? And from playing sports or anything that I did, confidence is key, right? Because that's what give you your oomph in what you do. So for a time, I didn't have the confidence to present music because I felt like I couldn't play with the band. So after a span of time, I left that band because they moved on to different things. I wanted to keep progressing as a musician and as a songwriter, composer. And at this time, I didn't have the funds or the equipment to produce. So that wasn't even an option. I would have been done it. So another time when I collabed, this was more of a positive one. I was invited by a coworker to come and play with his youth ministry. They was having a youth event. I didn't attend the church or nothing, but I said, "Hey, I'll play," because he heard some of my songs that I was making, and he thought that I would be good for it, and I did well, and it was a good experience. Everybody who played, we understood the songs we were playing, and they didn't mind that I added some things to certain songs to elevate the experience of the song. So that experience was great. And then I had another experience, it wasn't that great. And it was not because of lack of skill, but it was just, we were not on the same page. Coworker I was working with found out I played guitar, came over to hear me play, because he wrote songs and stuff like that. I was playing an exercise I made just to kind of get into the concept of switching keys, which I like to do, and working on different rhythm strumming patterns and stuff like that and chords. And he was blown away, so he invited me to join his band. I went to do it. It wasn't a good experience. Why? Because the songs he wrote was in a genre that I have a lot of respect for, but it wasn't my speed. And I was honest with him, like, I respect what you do. He played like, what was it, like thrasher metal shit. And I don't really make stuff like that. I like some of the techniques and skills they have, but it just didn't work. So we ended up swapping guitars. He wanted my 7 string. I got a 6 string out of it. Great experience in that aspect, but working with that, it didn't work. So 2020, I made a decision to start releasing music. And this was getting more into the production side. And I released music up to today. And out of all the tracks I've released, only one I did with a collaboration. This experience was good, but it was a learning experience. I collabed with my wife, and we made the song Juneteenth. Check it out. It's on streaming services. Excellent song. We co-wrote the lyrics, and I wrote the music. And we plan, Lord willing, to make more music like that in the future. But I just, from that experience, because it took a while to actually complete the project, complete this song. It took almost, I say 6 to 8 months to complete it. The song was, like, the music was done, the lyrics was done, but I had to learn how to produce it like, do the post production and stuff with vocals. So it took a while, but we got it done. And it was a good experience. But this is what I'll say about collabing. The keys to collaboration, to have a good experience with collaboration, both either two or more people have to be on the same page and completing the idea. Um, that has to be number one. Second thing is skill level. Knowledge and skill level has to be on par. They have to be synced up. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I experienced that. So most of my music, that's what I'll say about collaboration. And that's what I would say to anybody who talks about collaborating. But I recognize and accept the fact that considered a lone wolf. Why would you say that? Well, let's deal with the gear I use. I use only the Akai Force. I want to say, for right now on social media, on any platform, I'm the only person who make drill music on the Force, right? Which isn't as popular as the MPC or FL Studio. Um, for sound, I sound design. I use the Zoya and the Poly Bebo pedals and create synths on there and sample them and use the sounds inside the Force as well to create my sound, which is different. Vibe drill isn't mainstream yet, right? That's some lone wolf stuff. It's creating a subgenre, right? So in that aspect, and that's all I use, in that aspect, that's some lone wolf type stuff. DJ, the way I DJ, I only DJ with my mixer and the software. I don't use control platters or CDJs or media players. I use just the software and my mixer. That's some lone wolf type stuff. And I'm cool with that. The way I write my music is lone wolf. Because I had to come to, over all those years of working with people, even going back to whenever I was doing choir and singing, I just work better by myself. And I had to accept that. And I'm cool with that. Now, another reason why I'm a lone wolf is because I'm 100% independent. So I create everything. I compose my music, I produce it, and I perform it. So that's not like, there's not a lot of people that do that. That's some lone wolf type stuff. Am I capable of working with other people? Yeah, I have the skill set. I can make any genre. I can play anybody. If someone hired me to do the drums and they already written out the music, I can perform it. I can play the music, the keys, the guitar, all that. But I had to come to the fact that I work best alone and that it's okay. And I'll say that too. If you a person like that, it's okay to be a lone wolf. You understand? It's not it's not a bad thing. It gets the stigma is negative because a lot of people want to collab, but when we get down to the nitty gritty, it's usually the people who are the source, meaning either they write the music, write the lyrics, usually end up leaving groups or bands and going solo. That's why you don't see a lot of bands. Or you see with collaborations, the person that usually is doing all that, the writing, they tend to end up having issues with the other members, and it usually come down to money. So if your goal is to make money in music, improve your composition, your writing skills, and the production and all that, that's cool. But get your writing game up. But if you like working with other people and the money thing ain't an issue, then do it. But my issue with him is that you cannot make that statement because that's not fair. and that's not realistic. Some people do better working by themselves. Some people are extremely creative by themselves where they don't need to have a bunch of people or are capable of doing everything and don't really need the assistance of others when it comes to completing their project or their idea. And other times, some people need that. Maybe to start out, maybe they need, um, they might lack in something, and the person they pair up with complements that because that's their strength. That's cool too. But usually, what comes down to it when people end up beefing, when it comes to this subject of lone wolves and collaboration, is it comes down to either money or what I experience sometimes, um, not being in sync or envy or jealousy. Because, like I stated in that first example, when I had wrote a song and I brought it to the group, the guy who brought me into the group when I first started, I was just learning the instrument, and then I ended up surpassing him, and he felt a certain kind of way, and I felt that, and I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like conflict if it can be avoided. So I just removed myself because I was like, there's no point in staying there and having that type of energy. And that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you think because yeah, it might be people out there that might be like me that is they work best by themselves. They have ideas or the gear that they use kind of makes them kind of like an anomaly, right? And it's okay to be like that. You know, don't let other people stunt your greatness, or don't let other people, in this case DJ Av, have you feel that if you have experienced what I experienced or have um the same type of way that you work, it doesn't resonate with other people. It's you shouldn't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I just felt like it needed to be addressed. Frankly, I don't care. I don't know this guy. Um, but I'm just touching on that because I know he has a lot of influence on YouTube, that platform, and for him to make a statement like that, it was kind of ill-advised. He should have been a little bit thorough, saying like if y'all collab, if you need to, or if it fits the situation. Because collabing and working by yourself is really a situational thing, and that's all I have to say on it. So I'm Mike Venus, La Soul. Till the next time, y'all be blessed. Mike out.